She sits next to me, staring vexedly at the purple sea, an expression more complex and perplexed than it was meant to be. For the first half an hour, no one talks. The only sound we hear are the hollow murmurs of evening walks in the waves crashing against the rocks under our feet. Then, after an eternity, she turns to me, breathes, and says, "You're the worst friend I've ever seen." This hurts twice as much because deep inside, I agreed. Soon she gets back to her feet with a swoon, tears running free, glistening in the light of the moon like the salt in the sea breeze was singeing her wound. She screams, "Stop suffering alone. Stop hiding behind closed doors to trick me into leaving or believing that no one's home, not when I can see you and your mess grieving through a fucking window. Stop telling me you want to make it on your own because you don't need to. This isn't the pact of friendship I agreed to. Stop defending the pain it takes to keep you because this suffocation is unending and I need to breathe too. Stop leaving me behind at every turn because by now I'm lost and I'm blind. I'm tired of the million times you've said everything's fine and I can clearly see I'm being lied to. For the sake of 3 long years of friendship that we've both been tied to, tonight, just tonight, please, I ask for truth." The overwhelming urge to purge on my regret is up till here now, but I don't. I want to justify every action, every reaction, every fear now, but I won't. With a sharpened blade of quiet restraint, I slay every word in my throat as the little voice in my head goes, "Shh, shh, shh, shh." Because we don't talk about our problems at home. When I was a 7-year-old, my father was fighting a war when he crashed his plane. He jumped out in time, but the forces of nature weren't kind on the day as he fell to the ground in the most excruciating way imaginable, bleeding on a shattered spine. Lying and dying in abominable pain, his surgeon told him he'd be lucky if he ever learned to walk again. But even when confined to a wheelchair, bereft of the ability to stand, my father would take a ball in his hand, repeatedly pick it as his 8-year-old son knocked it back to him in a game of cricket. Come to think of it, 15 years on, I can't write on a feeling as crippling as staring at the bedroom ceiling or the walls, knowing that your dreams were reeling and reduced to thoughts no one else would ever know. My father taught me this. We don't talk about our problems at home. When I turned 18, my father asked my cancer-stricken mother to choose between a house near the hospital or one near my sister's school. Now, despite her weakened defenses, the impending pain, the consequences, my mother chose the latter because she could deal with her demons at hand, but not with the thoughts of the inconvenience my sister would feel if we moved during her board exams. I remember on hour-long cab rides back from the hospital after rounds of chemotherapy, I could hear the muffled screams of her agony shake her on every swerve, every turn, every speed breaker on the road. But for 2 years, the only sounds I ever heard were those of silent suffering that torched her, but never a single word to describe the torture or the strain. Never a single complaint against a choice she consciously made on her own. My mother taught me this. We don't talk about our problems at home. I want to tell my friend this, the reason why she can't break my walls, the reason why every secret is a secret and why I don't believe I suffer at all, because I have no problems. I've been raised by 2 people who've been cursed to go through a whole lot worse through fate's decisions, and they never let me understand what it felt like to nurse such grave incisions. I want to tell her about the time I broke my shoulder and sat on my bed moaning and groaning in pain. My father took one look at me and said, "That's cute," but I fell out of a plane. I want to tell her about the mother who never cried because of a terminal disease, but broke down because being in a wheelchair wouldn't let her cook for a family every eve. My parents taught me this, that pain is a very subjective entity when you put the grievances of your loved ones before your own. My parents taught me this. We don't talk about our problems at home. But instead of the million words inside my head that I could have said to my friend, I offer her my first line of defense, an apologetic smile. I look at her, hold her hand, and say, "Everything's fine. Thank you."
We don't just want to tell you stories, we also want to hear your stories. So is there a story inside you that's bursting like lava out of an active volcano? Then unleash it. Send it to us at this email. You can send it in any way you want. You can write it, it can be a voice note, you can record yourself, you can paint a picture, you can sing a song, you can tell a poem, you can send us pizza. We would like the pizza more, honestly. But do send us your story. We really want to hear it.